Hey, welcome to my channel, which is all about helping you and your pet live the best life together. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of talking about behavior, enrichment, or training, we're going to talk about spooky pet stories. Since it is October and it's that time of year where the ghosts come out, and we're going to be talking about some dog and cat ghost stories. So I recently spoke to a medium, and she actually told me that the dog that I have now is a dog that I've had in the past in previous lives, and we've spent a lot of other lives together. So whether you believe in this kind of stuff or not, it is October and it is the time of year where we all like to get a little spooked out and a little freaked out. So I did some research and I looked around on what happens to your pets after they die and what happens to their spirit or their soul. And there are a lot of different stories out there about dogs and cats that have returned to either haunt their owners or just be around their owners as ghosts. So this got me to thinking about some of the experience that I've had, because I've had a lot of pets in my life, and of course they have passed away, and I started to think about my experiences with my own animals. One of the common things that actually a lot of pet owners experience after their pet dies, they still see flashes of their dog or their cat still running around the house, which I actually do see often. I always think I see a cat out of the corner of my eye or something running by, and I look thinking that it is my current cat that I'm living with, and there's no cat there, or my cat's sleeping curled up and there's no way a cat would have ran by, but I swear I saw a cat. So if you choose to believe that this is your mind playing tricks, or maybe it's one of my past cats coming to visit me, I like to think that my cats will always be in my life, so thinking that they are still here visiting to me is really comforting and not really a spooky story. Reading the stories online about other pet owners and what they have experienced, it seems that pets do come into our life, but not to scare us or harm us, just to check up on us and show us that they still love us and think about us even while they are not here with us anymore. That could also just be us missing our pets and loving our pets so much that we like to believe that they're still around. It also is a fairly common belief that cats and dogs can actually see spirits and ghosts that are in our homes with us or around us, which is a scary thought, but when you really think about it, cats do often just stare up at something or look somewhere and act as if they see something when there's nothing there. Often I like to think that they saw a spider or something crawling on the ceiling, but when I look really hard, I don't see anything. Do your cats look at weird things like that too? Let me know in the comments if they do. There are a lot of people online and stories that they've shared where their cats do really strange things, and it really does seem like they can see something that we can't. The same goes for dogs, and when you think about it, cats and dogs, they have different senses than us. They can hear better, they can see better, and they can smell better. So really, why wouldn't they be able to see spirits or ghosts? A lot of dog owners have said that their dogs bark or growl and act really upset and angry at a certain spot, like a corner of the room or in a closet, and they go check and there's nothing there, and there's absolutely nothing that should upset their dog to the degree that it does. It almost sounds like there's an intruder or something in the house. And the only explanation for this is that their dog sensed a ghost or a spirit or something there that we can't see. If your dog has done anything like this, let me know in the comments below, because I really like to read these stories. I'm going to let you know some of my favorite stories that I have come across, so let's just get right into them.
One early morning, I wake up and look over, and plain as day, there's a black cat on the floor just looking at me. I get up and it runs out of the room, but when I go look for it, I can't find it anywhere. I tell my wife and she thinks I'm crazy and laughs at how dumb I am. I saw that same black cat maybe twice after. Then one night about a week ago, I woke up hearing a noise. When my eyes readjust, there's a cat on my wife's nightstand beside her bed, licking its paws. I nudge my wife awake and I whisper, "Look!" She looks and she screams, and the thing jumps down and disappears mid-jump before it hits the floor. We find out later that there was an old woman with 2 cats who died in this house right before we moved in. When I was little, we had a cat named Guido. He was blind and half deaf, and we loved each other to pieces in a way that only an old cat and a little girl could. He used to sleep on the edge of the bed while I was napping to make sure I wouldn't roll off, and was very protective of me. After he passed, I would still see him in his usual spots. My mom also reported more than once that she saw him sleeping next to me, and when she put her hand on the bed where she had seen him, it was warm. We had a dog named Sheena. She was given to my mother by my father on Mother's Day the year I was born. Well, about 10 years ago, Sheena got really sick, and the vets couldn't do anything for her because she was already pretty old. The day before we were scheduled to take her to put her into sleep, she didn't wake up. Sadly, Sheena had passed away in her sleep. Well, as creepy as this sounds, Sheena used to sit next to my mom's couch and would scratch herself. You'd hear the jingle of the little charm and name tag that she had on her collar. We still have the couch, and if you sit on the right cushion at the right time, you can sometimes hear a jingle of a chain or what sounds like a chain. This has actually brought my mother to tears before, and I've heard her say, "Go to sleep, Sheena," and then the jingling would stop. I was visiting a friend one day, and we were playing Mario Kart in his living room while sitting on his dining room chairs directly in front of the TV. Suddenly, in my peripheral vision, I saw a bushy black tail wagging back and forth, but I chose to ignore it for the time being. Later that day, I asked my friend if he had ever had a dog. He said yes, and I described the dog that I saw. He told me that his family had a medium-sized furry black dog that they had to put down because of health problems. Then he said only until then his family members were the only one that had seen the ghost of the dog, and she had been put down several years before I had ever met my friend. We lost our beloved cat several years ago, but still remember him fondly as our Einstein cat because he was so intelligent. About a week after he died, my husband called to me from the other room. When I got there, he had a strange look on his face, and he said he had just felt something rubbing around his legs and ankles like our cat used to, but when he looked down, there was nothing there. One time when my husband was in the bathroom, he swore he heard Oscar bark, his very deep, loud bark, in the living room, only to find that the living room was empty. Another time we both heard Oscar's nails clicking on the hardwood floors in our entryway, and of course, there was nothing there. When Oscar was alive, he used to come in early into the master bedroom and sigh very loudly to let me know that he was up and hungry. When I heard this sigh, it really frightened me. So I shouted, "Oscar, you're scaring Mommy. Please wait for me in heaven." And after that, we never heard anything from him again. Suddenly, there was a loud pounding on the door of my apartment at 9:10, and I leaped up from 3 feet away and flung open the door thinking it was my boyfriend in crisis. He lived about 45 miles away. My cat, Mindy's hair, stood up all over. I never saw her do that before or after this incident. Her pupils were large and dilated, but there was no one in sight. How could they disappear in 2 seconds after knocking on my door? There was a cold chill, and the night wasn't that cold. Mandy, my cat, backed into the corner, growling, with her hair still standing straight up. There was a sweet smell of flowers. Mandy crouched down, growling, for nearly 5 minutes. I felt the presence of my boyfriend's mother, and I sensed her questioning me as to whether I would be loyal and loving to her son. Getting the answer she wanted, I would. Everything, including Mandy, went back to normal. The next morning, my boyfriend called me deeply upset. His mother died at 9:10 the night before.
So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed these spooky Halloween stories. And if you have any stories of your own to share, please let me know below in the comments. And have a happy Halloween and the rest of your October. Bye.